Hey everyone, so for the evening meditation today, I reflected on gratitude and how, despite all the things that have come against me, I can reflect on gratitude. Gratitude for what I have, for my health, for the people that love me, for the doors that have opened for me. And even in unemployment, I am not isolated completely. I'm not completely alone. I have my faith. I have managers and supervisors who keep in touch with me. And even though I'm no longer working at Teleperformance, if they see jobs there or they see jobs outside, they do send them to me. So focusing on my gratitude and on faith helps me to move forward. It doesn't make it easier, but it helps me to endure it. And I had thought coming to Canada, it would be easier than living in Zimbabwe. But it's not. It's not any easier. You might have the clean running water for now, but there's things here that I saw happen in Zimbabwe which are starting here, and the things here that are happening, like food banks and all that, we never had that there. So when I say things that happened, I mean things like empty shelves, like people wanting to attack you over COVID because they see you coming in with a pack of toilet paper. I mean, in Zimbabwe, that never happened. Like if somebody had a pack of toilet paper and you didn't, they were not going to attack you for that. They might ask you, you know what, I need some toilet paper. I don't have any. Do you mind like giving me some of yours? But the things that happen to me here are just ridiculous. They're ridiculous. From the moment I arrived, the first trip I made going to Connecticut, when we got to the border, they scanned my retina. I was like, what is going on? And they gave me no explanation for this. I was treated like a common thief from the time I arrived in this country. And I have no idea why. I didn't do anything to anybody. But my mother and I are blessed because Mr. Volpe, because I went and I met with him and I presented her case, he fast-tracked her papers. So these seasons of unemployment, they don't get any easier, but I am resilient and I'm not willing to have my life end being completely dependent on the government. There's no council houses here like in England. In England, you can ask to live in a council house. There's nothing like that here. In Vancouver, they've started this rent to own, but people don't have jobs. So how are you supposed to pay your rent, your mortgage? How are you supposed to live? So focusing on gratitude helps me because it keeps me grounded. It helps me because I have been to places like Soweto in Johannesburg. I've worked in those areas. I've helped in those areas. I've helped in Amaveni in the townships and in Mbizo. So I know what extreme poverty is. And I've also been to Mumbai, to the slums of Bombay and in Goa. I don't come from a rich family, so I don't worry about money. I worry about paying my bills. I worry about being evicted. I worry about where my next mouthful of food is going to come from. But money is not, I'm not like the billionaire sitting and worrying about where is my money? Where is that 1 cent going? Like when I used to do the visa reconciliations, when I worked at Credit Suisse, I had to do the expenses for the juniors, and then I had to reconcile their visas to the penny. And sometimes it was out. And it was out even by 1 penny. The executive assistant that reported to the CEO, she used to get upset. She used to say, find that 1 penny. I'm like, oh, please, it's 1 penny. But this is the difference between when you are living with your life completely dependent on God and you are living a life where you have everything, where you lack nothing. And money is the the only thing that you're concerned about. So gratitude helps. It helps a lot. Faith helps a lot. And knowing that the things that I can give gratitude for are things that man can't control. They can control getting me out of my jobs. They can control making it seem like, oh, she doesn't know how to talk. She failed on her fluency. So, no, she can't have a job because she doesn't know how to talk. I don't know how she landed up in that John Maxwell, being a speaker. I don't know how she landed up going to speak for the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund in the schools in Canada. I don't know how she landed up speaking for the One campaign in front of Marco Mendocino and all these big shots, because she really can't speak. Maybe in the past she used to be able to speak, but she can't speak. She's incapable of holding a job. I really worry about her mental health state because I don't know who she thinks she is. That's the culture of Canada. But God has helped me. God has brought me this far. And I believe that I will see God's goodness in the land of the living. Not just when I'm dead and I go to heaven. I trust in Him to help me to get that job, to get that next opportunity. And I'm grateful to all my friends, to everybody who's helped me, people, strangers who have donated to my GoFundMe. Because what man can control, God can also undo. What man can destroy, God can build up. So man thinks he's great, he thinks he's fantastic, but he's not. He's not. The things I can give gratitude for and thanks for is breathing fresh air without the smoke of the fires, waking up in the morning and being able to see the morning sunshine, looking outside my window and seeing the trees. And do I miss Zimbabwe? Yeah, of course I miss Zimbabwe. Because what I'm going through here, I wouldn't go through in Zimbabwe. I wouldn't be facing homelessness. But all I can do is say, Lord, please bless my applications with your favor. And through your miracle, help me to get that good paid job so that I can provide for my mother and I, so that we are not turned out onto the street. Because going bankrupt is not a joke. It's not a joke. It's happened not only in Zimbabwe to us, but it's happened to me here twice in Canada. And why? I didn't do anything bad. I didn't hurt anybody. Here it was coordinated to hurt me. And it was deliberate. It was coordinated to get me out of my jobs, not renew my contracts, not call me back for good paid positions, not give me stability, and then make it seem like I'm the one with the mental health problems and I'm the one that's ungrateful, when it's actually the exact opposite. So that's where the gift of discernment comes in. But I put my faith in the Lord, and if you focus on gratitude and you focus on the good things that have happened, you can have that faith and that resilience to hang in there. And I hope for the best. That's all I can do. Today, I had 2 interviews that were set up, and neither of those people joined. So maybe they were fake. I don't know. But they seem to be coming from legitimate recruiters. So when I joined them, nobody came on. And it's strange. That's all I can say. And then also with the WhatsApp, I used to have a normal WhatsApp. But when U of T changed their emails from Gmail to Outlook, I couldn't download that new app with the old one. That's for individuals and not businesses, because it was tied to my old email. So I left it and left it and left it. And then yesterday I thought, let me just try, because I don't use the business functions. So I tried it and it worked. and I connected it to a new email. So I'm happy about that. But that's why sometimes things take a long time and we don't know. Maybe the developers changed something. I really don't know. But I'm happy that I could get off that business app and use the normal one. And yeah, do I cry? Of course I cry. Of course I get upset. Of course I'm frustrated, because everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to have the dignity of working and having things fall into place. And when it's coordinated on purpose to hurt you and to discriminate against you, it's very, very sad. Because even when I told the police I don't want to go and have that psychiatric assessment done, they told me, if you don't go and do it, we are going to come and get you. So basically they were going to arrest me and take me to have the psychiatric assessment done. When I did what they wanted me to do, I reported what they wanted me to report, and then it got turned around and used against me. And that's discrimination. That's how discrimination works. So Canada might be painted as this beautiful, pristine country where everything is fair and equal, but the reality is very different. And for me, I discovered who my true friends are. And it's not the people that I helped, that I gave references when they came to Canada, that I introduced to my parish priest, that I helped to get jobs. They all disappeared. They were all high and mighty. They wanted to tell me how I should have done things when I was the one who helped them. But God has sustained me. And some of those people, they thought they were better than me, but they didn't finish their masters. And I finished mine. I worked and studied. I held 3 jobs, and I worked and studied to show myself approved unto the Lord. And where are they? They got lots of friends. They're enjoying life. Do they ever reach back and think of me? No, they don't. But God has helped me with other friends from high school, friends who I never ever expected to help me, that have sacrificed, that have sent me money for food, that have helped me with my rent. So my life is blessed, and I'm very grateful to God for bringing those people into my life and keeping them in my life. Because the reality is that God could take any of us at any time. It doesn't matter if you're old or if you're young. Just look at what happened with my high blood pressure. It was so high, I could have been admitted to the hospital then and there, because it was off the chart. So life is a gift, and my life is a gift, and I'm grateful to the Lord for it. I always ask God, can you take me back to Zimbabwe, Lord? Because I really don't see the point in staying in a country where people don't want you to work. They don't want you to come up. They don't want you to own your condominium. And they're more than happy to see you and your mother destitute. I don't want to live with people like that, or associate with people like that, or have them tell me, well, I don't know what you're going to do. You and your mother, you can go and be homeless. I don't want that in my life. So I'm still praying for God to open up that door and to take me back to South Africa or Zimbabwe, because that's what I'm facing here. That's what I'm facing. And I know going back to England is not possible. I would have liked to have gone back to England, but I don't want to stay with people who are willing to see me and my mother live on the street. I don't. So I'm praying to God to open up work for me, a good paid job and good hours, and I'm praying that it will happen sooner rather than later for me. I could have sued the police for what they did. My doctor was on my side, not on their side. I could have taken it up and gone into a big legal battle with them. But to save the peace, I did that stupid assessment. And there is nothing wrong with me. That's how discrimination works. Just because my mother was poor and came from a very poor family doesn't mean that she's not educated. She's educated better than somebody who went to university. And everything I learned from my mom and dad. Everything, and my grandparents. Some of it I don't even know. But I learned my cooking from my grandmother. I learned to take a book and read the recipe and cook from my mother. And it's by trial and error. That's how I learn. But other people are perfect, including the police. That's why they wanted to arrest me and take me to have a psychiatric assessment done. Because in their minds, they thought I was sick. And I wasn't. There was nothing wrong with me. Did I want to get better from the pain I was experiencing and not being able to sit and walk properly? Yes, I did. But there was too much pressure put on me, just like now. So I don't know if the end game of Canada is to kill people by treating you with cruelty. But if that's what it is, let me leave. Because I deserve to work. I deserve to have a job and to work and to provide for my mother. I didn't bring my mother here so that we could land up being beggars. That's not the reason I came here. And I'm grateful to God for every opportunity I've had to help others. I've helped others in this country. I haven't hurt them. And I deserve better.